Here we go. The trade of the day is going to be a review of Nvda today. And why we picked this one, or why I picked this one, is more about what we can learn from it. Because you can have the best laid plans in the world, you can have the best setup in the world, but the market doesn't give a damn about your position or your setup. And we're going to give that example. I've switched things up a little bit. I do have the higher time frame of Nvidia here, and we can show the trade in the middle. But I've also included the NASDAQ futures. And that'll become obviously important as I show you the level we're working off of here today. So you had some relative weakness in semis. We had talked about AMD possibly getting a death cross if it pushed any further down off 115. But Nvidia was already pulling back. And you look at that double top 271 on the 15-minute chart. And then I just looked right at that even 260. And you can see like the last couple of times, some bounces to the upside, then holding the support. It was the top end of the channel when you made that double top. Now you come in the morning, you've already sort of violated this level, and then at the open, you're looking for that breakdown, right? You're testing down towards it and looking for that breakdown at the 260. It's a pretty simple trade. I'm shorting 260 on a break. The market had been up several days in a row and thinking turn in the market. Now, we're going to get that entry, and you'll see that it ends up working out a couple of times. Like the market opens, we get the break, we're able to quickly scalp some out there. You get a $1.50 on the trade, even able to come back and reload at the exact same price, and it flushes down again. But I do want to make sure that we're keeping an idea of what's going on in the futures. Like we're actually getting a monster flush through in the futures, which is confirming pretty much everything that we want in this trade. When we're breaking the low of the day here and you start seeing it form this bottom, at that point, it is so weak that if we take another leg down in the futures, I can't think of any reason why we're not filling the gap into 250. It seems inevitable that 55 is going to break, 250 is going to come into play, and you start getting greedy. Right? When others are panicking, get a little bit greedy. And I don't mind that notion. But if you can see this one 15-minute candle after that bottom is made in the NASDAQ, and even the weakest name, the semi's been weak all year, but even the weakest name is going to correspond with this bounce back up. And now suddenly, in the face of that, you're resisting that 260 level. And as much as this was holding weakness every single bounce, and it looked like it was going to be the short that I'd be in all day long, you have to accept the change in market sentiment. That is about as bullish a bottom as you're going to see. You've got to accept that it's turning the market. And on top of that, at that particular time, Tesla and Apple were going nuts to the upside, essentially dragging the entire market up by themselves. You can't ignore something like this. Had to be able to get out when it broke, and was right at that same key level. If it could have held that through the entire market mess, it's going to flush. But it didn't. And you just have to be able to get out. But the only thing I could have done differently, you guessed it, is make a reversal off of that same price area. It gave you a scalp trade, but it didn't hold. And that's why I think the short was a little bit better, because it didn't hold on the way back. But it gave you a nice little scalp trade for a few dollars that you could have taken. And sometimes it's not about making the best winning trade or simply finding that perfect setup. Sometimes it's about listening to what the market is telling you, making the best out of the trade that you're already in, or avoiding the trade that you don't need to be in. Today, it was making the best out of what was a good setup, but the market decided it was going to be something different. So stayed up on the stock, but there was no way it was going to give me that follow through, given what we saw today with Apple and Tesla.